What's up, guys? How are we? It is Saturday night. It is the late night agenda, and I hope that you are all having a good weekend up until this point. Not that I'm going to spoil your weekend, but I do appreciate you as always giving up some of your time. Loads to go through, and of course, we'll be looking ahead to tomorrow's game against Crystal Palace, a must-win game. It is a 2 p.m. kickoff for those of you that may not be aware. Arsenal follow on for the half-4 game. And yeah, look, let's be honest, United got away with one today. I don't know if you were watching the game or not, but today was the day that I decided I'm cancelling my Sky subscription at the end of the season. I cannot be doing with it anymore. You know, listening to Jamie Redknapp and those other pundits, and I use that term very loosely, on Sky telling the world that what we see with our own two eyes isn't in fact what happened. It's just worn on me too much. I can't, between that and all the woke nonsense on Sky, I just can't be bothered anymore. So after 19 years of paying a Sky subscription, I am definitely going to be knocking it on the head in the summer because it's getting too much. It's getting too much. They're just part of the problem at this point, in my opinion. You don't get a valid, honest answer from any of the pundits. You just get towing the company line. I'm sure you're all aware. I'm sure you're all as frustrated as I am, but it just gets worse and worse, you know. Trying to tell the world that that was a penalty to Manchester United is quite simply embarrassing for football, for punditry, and to fans around the world, you know. To tell us that that was a handball, but Martin Odegaard against us wasn't. I'm done. I've nothing else to add to that, by the way. And I hope that you're all good. Chances of Nagelsmann coming, said Vidor. Slim to none. Because most likely, if indeed he does depart the German national team, reports suggest that he will be making his way back to Bayern Munich, which I have to admit, I agree with everybody who says that's a bit of a weird one, because he was already sacked from Bayern once, but that seems to be the prevailing wisdom from the media anyway, that if Julian Nagelsmann does leave the German national team job, that he'll be going back to Bayern. How are you going to stream matches? Just wondering. The Zone. Spanish DAZN account. Don't you worry about that. No, I'll still be legally paying for my football. Don't you worry. I'll be paying my Spanish DAZN bill. Just not going to be giving Sky any more money for just nonsense. Honestly. Too much money every month for not enough back. And now we're being told that the rules don't apply in certain instances because, you know, Jamie Redknapp taking a break from his Skechers adverts to tell us that what we're seeing with our own eyes isn't real. I give up. I'd rather follow games with you than on Sky, mate, said Finty Tin. I say it with a heavy heart, bro, honestly. I've been a loyal customer to Sky since I've moved out and been an adult, you know. I've always had Sky Sports in the house. I've always made sure that I paid my bills on time, but it's just the straw that broke the camel's back for me. I'm just sick of seeing the levels of punditry go downhill. And nobody has a backbone. Not one of them. Nobody steps up against the regime or the company line and actually speaks out anymore. It's pathetic. Maybe I'm spoiled. Over here in Ireland, I was very lucky growing up. We had good punditry on Irish TV and they weren't afraid to speak their mind, which was pleasant. Right. Up the Reds. Hope we're well. Got to get 3 points tomorrow, said Squeaky Clean. Yes, we do. We definitely do. I'm trying not to get ahead of myself at this point, though. I am trying to get into that mindset of just one match at a time, one game at a time, and see how we get on. Little bit of a climb down, by the way, from Jamie Carragher on his previous comments about Liverpool putting out a second string team against Atalanta next Thursday. He's apparently clearing up his comments, and I don't think he's clearing them up. I think he's backtracking on them. But what he said was, and let's see if this makes any sense, when I said second string, I wasn't talking about the kids. He wasn't talking about the kids, everybody. This is what Jamie Carragher is trying to tell us he meant by second string. Are you ready? I meant, give Trent a game. Give Diogo Jota a game. Give Curtis Jones a game. Give Alisson Becker a game. You know, those famous second string players. Alisson Becker, Diogo Jota, Trent Alexander-Arnold and Curtis Jones. You know them second string players. Definitely not first teamers and regulars. 100% second string players. So we can rest easy now because Carra's cleared that one up for us. So thank you, Jamie. Hope you enjoyed Aintree, mate, which is where these opinions came from, by the way. But there you go. Second stringers. So I assume, when Trent's contract renewal comes up, that he'll be given second string money. and he won't be getting a pay increase or be given the captain's armband because he's only second string. You wouldn't want to be paying second string players that much money. Same with Alisson Becker. Again, professional pundits, ladies and gentlemen, telling us that that's what they meant when he said Liverpool should put out a second string team. Who on earth do you think you are kidding, Carragher? Who on earth do you think you are kidding with that drivel that has just come out of your trap? No, mate, no. We know what you meant. You bottled your comments now and you've changed your mind. Just own it, mate. Just own it. Craig, I absolutely love your positivity. It's infectious. Thank you, Mark. I try to be positive on all things Liverpool. I do. And I think there is a lot to be positive about. I don't love that we messed up against United, but I love that we're in this position right now. 7 games to go and we're in a title race. It's what we live for in football, right? It's what we want. So, I am genuinely... Look, there has been disappointments this season. There has been frustrations. But all in all, big picture stuff, I would have taken this at the start of the year. So I'm trying to stay positive. What's the news on Amorim? No problem, Baron, my man. Let me get that for you now. So this kind of came up out of nowhere, really, today. But it was Pedro Sepulveda again. And he posted to say, Federico Varandas, who is the president of Sporting, is considering changing his verbal agreement with Ruben Amorim, allowing him to leave below the release clause. He's worried apparently about being criticised by the Sporting fans. So even though, according to Pedro Sepulveda, there was an agreement that Ruben Amorim could leave for less than the release clause for a club outside of Portugal, now it seems that the president of the Sporting is changing his mind because of a bit of a backlash from the fans. He says this could trigger discomfort inside Sporting, and he goes on to finish to say that Liverpool want to close the deal. So Liverpool want to get this over the line, get Ruben Amorim all signed up, done and dusted and ready to go. Now, I'm not saying that the deal is potentially going to fall apart or anything like that. It's just this one thing could be a little bit of a, not a sticking point, but there could be a little bit of negotiating needing to be done between Liverpool, Ruben Amorim and Sporting over that release clause. It's set at a certain fee, and according to Pedro Sepulveda, there was an agreement between the president and Ruben Amorim that he could leave for a club outside of Portugal for a bit less than the release clause. So that's kind of where we're at with it. I wouldn't be losing too much sleep over it. It's just a little obstacle. I wouldn't say it's anything that will put the deal in jeopardy. So I wouldn't be worrying about that one. Long story short, Amorim isn't coming. Okay, yeah. Well, do you know what? Long story short, adios. Don't care if you're a member or not, mate. I'm sick of all the negativity. I can't be done with it. It's just too much of it. If you want to think negatively, give up watching football, stop watching Liverpool, or please at least stop watching me, because I'm not being dragged down with negativity, man. There's loads to be positive about with our football club. If you want to piss and moan constantly, do it somewhere else, mate. That's what Twitter's for. Alisson able to start tomorrow? Could be, mate. Could be. I don't know the answer, so I'm not going to sit here and say to you, yes, I know. But there is a little bit of chatter that maybe Alisson could be available. Now, what I would say is, unlike the likes of Trent or Diogo Jota or other players coming back like Bajcetic, you wouldn't expect that he would need time to, build up fitness. It's a goalkeeper. You'd imagine that once Ali's good to go, he'll be dropped into the team. So fingers crossed, I'll be anxiously looking out for the team selection. While I'm really, really proud of Caoimhín Kelleher for the job he's done while Alisson's been away. I think 24 games Caoimhín has played this season. Alisson, in my opinion, is the best keeper in the world. So every bit of experience is needed at this point of the season. So great to have him back. And Diogo Jota and, of course, Trent Alexander-Arnold as well. Did you see the cheeky Dan's goal yesterday? I did, Goomy. If you guys haven't seen it, have a quick search of it. Manchester United were beaten 3-0 by Liverpool under-21s at Old Trafford, and Jayden Dan's scored a very cheeky little backheel of a goal for Liverpool's third. Yeah, it was lovely. Really good to see, and hopefully fills the young man full of confidence. What do you think that Liverpool are not backtracking on their season ticket prices? I think they're right not to. From my reading of this situation, and of course, again, it's going to be a situation that people will all have varied opinions on, and I respect everyone's opinion on it. I just don't like it. I don't like the negativity around it. I just don't agree with Spy on Cop and the Spirit of Shankly on this one. I think they've done a lot of great work behind the scenes for Liverpool fans, but this feels very much like looking out for a small subset of fans, and I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it. I think it's actually silly, to be honest with you. And I think they've scored a bit of an own goal on it, looking at the reaction to socials. So yeah, I don't blame the club not backing down on it. I think it's a very, very reasonable situation. Whatever way we want to think about it, people want to say, we're fans, we're not customers. We're kind of both. We're kind of both. I love the romanticism behind the we're fans, not customer stuff, but they kind of go hand in hand these days. And it's a reasonable increase for me. So again, appreciate everyone's viewpoint on it. My own is that I think it's reasonable. Was I wrong, or did you see Dan's celebration? Pretty sure he kissed the club crest. I don't know on the celebration, mate. I really don't, but definitely good to see him scoring that type of goal and feeling full of confidence. What do you think might happen in the Arsenal game tomorrow? Do you think they'll get to 3 points? I don't know. Probably. It's hard to know. Look, Arsenal do look like they're in a very good moment. They look like they're full of belief. Their defence looks very strong. But they looked a little bit wobbly against Bayern Munich during the week. And, those latter stages of the Champions League, that's probably will wear them down mentally quite a bit. I hope they drop points, of course, but most importantly, I hope that we score and we win. And, after that, we can see what happens in the Arsenal game. But Manchester City, they improved their goal difference today by 4 with their 5-1 victory over Luton. So, first things first tomorrow, just make sure we get our 3 points, and then we'll see what happens after that. Mervyn said, Craig, everybody mocking us should know we've been playing high-level football for months now. A little slip happens and we're going to bounce back. Yeah, of course. Of course, Mervyn. It just feels like a sticky little period right now, because we had the United FA Cup game before the international break. That sent us all into the international break. And it was a tough one. It was a tough international break. We come back, build up a little bit of form again. 2 wins in the league. Then we go to Old Trafford again. Leave with a point, so we weren't beaten. But then you back that up with the Atalanta defeat. And look, if you look at it on its own, 1 defeat in 44 games at Anfield. I think it was just the manner of that defeat that left a lot of us a little bit concerned. But it is over with. It is done. We move on. And, there's still a lot to play for this season. So hopefully the righting of the ship starts tomorrow. Couple of other little bits and pieces I wanted to just draw your attention to. So Maxi Angelo tweeted something earlier on, and it just goes to show you, if true, and I no reason to doubt it isn't true, how grubby football is getting. So what Maxi posted was, Chelsea sold a hotel property for 76.5 million to Todd Bowley's company Blueco 22 in order to balance the books and avoid PSR charges. Apparently not against the rules. He finishes by tweeting, "This game is so dirty, man." Just does feel like football is grubbier and grubbier as the weeks and months go on, and these type of deals behind the scenes, I'm glad it's not going on at Liverpool, put it that way. I'm glad we don't have to look at these type of shenanigans happening to try balance the books. Marcus Cavern, how are you, Marcus? Said, glad we lost 3-0 in the Europa League instead of the Premier League. Yes. Look, the Prem's the big one to win, absolutely. But never happy. I'm not saying you're happy to lose 3-0, but there's no good 3-0 loss, is there really? Mervyn said, Craig, I have a feeling Villa will get something at the Emirates. Spurs drop points to Villa to give everybody else something to secure top 4. I mean, I couldn't believe Newcastle whooping Spurs by 4-0 earlier on. That's massive for the Champions League spot race. But I'm also happy that United dropped more points, because that means they could well end up in the Europa Conference League, and nothing would make me happier than see Manchester United have to tug out every Thursday in the Europa Conference League. That would really be lovely. I can't disguise it, lads. That would be lovely. Did you see that Wrexham got promoted? I did, yeah. Back-to-back promotions. I believe they finished second in League 2 up to League 1. And fair play to them, Good to see back-to-back promotions. Yeah, fair play. It seems like nobody wants to get promoted to the Premier League, by the looks of it, between the Ipswich and Leicester results. It's crazy. Everybody's having a little wobble at the top of the Championship. We should sign Xavi as our manager. Why? Why would we sign Xavi as our manager? Just why? I don't see it. If we don't get Amorim, are you worried? If we didn't get him, would I be? I'd be concerned, Katie. Yes, I would. I won't lie, mate. I would. But I very firm belief that we will, and I'm optimistic that we'll get the man that we're looking for, which is Ruben Amorim. I think that he will be the next Liverpool manager. Could Wrexham become a Luton Town or better? No idea. Honestly, I don't know. It's an interesting story for a really good footballing city. And they're up now into League 1, so let's see how they get on next season. Interestingly, to see Notts County, who went up with them, if my memory's right, from the Football League, to see Notts County go up, they finished I think they're 10th or 12th, something like that, middle of League 2, so yeah, fair play to Wrexham for pushing on. Craig, you must be pissed at all the negativity at times. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff like David. There's just people in the chat, mate. They're just trying to bait me lately, and I don't really care, to be honest, anymore. I've got to the point where I realise what they're trying to do. They're trying to infiltrate our Discord groups. They're emailing with lies. They're just sad, weird little people who have no happiness in their own lives, and they're trying to come in and interrupt their little community, but they're not going to get the better of us, because we'll root them out, we'll push them aside, and we'll carry on being the best Liverpool fan channel on the internet. Simple as. Why was Casper's photography post deleted, lads? All he asks is, why do Arsenal get an extra day and the later kick-off and time to prepare? Nothing wrong with that comment. I don't understand why it was deleted. If all favourite managers fall through for Liverpool, are you going to apply? No, I wouldn't wish me on the club, mate. Honestly, I wouldn't. You don't need me coming in and making things a lot worse. Steve Irons, how are you, Steve? Said, love your content. Got my mom to watch you also. Thank you for that. The more the merrier. The more people watching. Thoughts on Darwin, and are you still backing him? Am I backing him? To an extent, yes. I wouldn't be selling him, but I do think a little spell on the bench now, I could understand it. With Diogo Jota back, I think if I was to pick a three for tomorrow, it would probably be Jota in the middle, Salah on the right, although, if I'm being honest, he's on thin ice as well. And on the left, Diaz. That feels like... But I could understand Gakpo getting a run. I thought he was one of our better players, if there was any, against Atalanta. They email you. Oh, mate, you've no idea the lengths some of these people go to. Honestly, if they're not, report me to the tax man. By the way, thanks for that, because that was a really lovely tax audit that took 6 weeks out of my life, so appreciate that, whoever did that. But you'll be delighted to know that they found that there was no tax irregularities and everything was in order as it should be. So cheers for that. Cheers for all the other stuff that people are trying to do to ruin my name, anger me. I don't know why, but it won't work. So you can carry on trying. I'm in a good place, and I'm very happy with my life, and I have no skeletons in my closet, as I keep saying. So keep trying. I'll keep smiling, keep showing up here at 8:30, keep doing my work, and keep running the most Watch Liverpool fan channel on the internet. And nobody that's trying to destroy us is going to be able to, because our community was built on trust, on honesty from the ground up, with great people involved, with great viewers, and we're not going to let people come in because their lives are miserable and make the rest of us miserable. So that's my promise to you guys. As you can see, I haven't even been reacting tonight to any of the stuff. I'm here to talk to people that want to have a genuine conversation about Liverpool and share their own life stories and situations. That's what we're about, and that's all we're going to do. Right, so really good article on The Athletic earlier on that gave us a list of Liverpool's most used back four combinations in 2023-24. And we've got 3 back four combinations that we've started, but what's crazy about this is 4 times is the most we've had the same back four this season. Just 4 times. So Trent, Ibu, Verge and Costas have played 4 times for Liverpool. Bradley, Kanade, Van Dijk and Gomez have played 4 times for Liverpool. And Bradley, Kwanzaa, Van Dijk and Gomez have played 4 times for Liverpool. After that, there's a couple more partnerships that have been 3 times together. But it's that lack of consistency that maybe gives us a little insight into why we've been a bit more porous defensively. Because I've been racking my brain trying to figure it out. Like Van Dijk, I think we'll all agree, in the main this season, has returned to form that we recognise a lot more. I do think he was weak against Atalanta, but overall I think Virgil van Dijk's been brilliant this season. So it's that lack of consistency for me that I look at and think maybe that's a reason. You know, if you look at back fours of, you know, Arsenal, who have had some injuries themselves, but in the main this season, Saliba and Gabriel have been able to play a good chunk of games together, and that's given them consistency. I think if we can get that next season, I'm hoping that some of these soft goals we concede disappear a little bit. Do you think Bajcetic will play any minutes tomorrow? He played half an hour for the 21s. I really don't know what to expect tomorrow from Stefan, if he'll be in the squad, if he gets minutes. I hope so, you know. The more we have back, the better. I'm proud of you, Craig. Thank you. It wasn't nice having the tax man going through all the stuff for the last 5 years because somebody ratted me, trying to cause me trouble. But I guess it is what it is. People can do what they need to do, but I'll just keep ploughing on. And honestly, it's a weird industry this at times. It really is. In your opinion, who's more clinical, Gakpo, Lucho or Nunes? Oh, God. Honestly, Baron, I don't think of clinical when I think of those 3 names. Oh, probably Gakpo. Of those 3, probably Gakpo. But look, I like them all for different reasons. Lucho, I love his energy. I love his fighting spirit. Darwin, look, we know on his best what Darwin can do. You know, what a nuisance he can be to opposition defenders and the space he can create for our attackers. So, yeah, probably Gakpo. But I wouldn't be thinking prolific for any of the 3, to be honest. What's up with the Amorim news? So basically, there was a bit of a to-do, for want of a better phrase, mate, behind the scenes, where there was an agreement, a verbal agreement, that Ruben Amorim could leave Sporting Lisbon for less than the release clause if it's for a club outside of Portugal. But apparently now, according to Pedro Sepulveda, the president of Sporting is considering going back on that verbal agreement and making Liverpool or whomever would come in for Sporting Lisbon's manager pay the full release clause. And Liverpool want to close the deal quickly, according to Pedro Sepulveda, and that the Sporting president is worried about being criticised by the fans if he was allowing Amorim to leave for cheaper than the release clause. Now, as I said at the start of the stream, I wouldn't take this as a worry that it's not going to happen. It just means the negotiation, I guess, is a little bit more complex at the minute. Craig, when you're getting haters means you're doing great. Yeah, I get that side of it, Tanya, but I wish I just wish people would just get on with their own lives and be happier, you know. I don't get it. I mean, nothing would enter my brain to go out of my way to make somebody else's life more complicated for no reason, especially if I didn't know them. But to have people constantly trying to leak stuff, undermine stuff. I mean, I'll give you an example, right? I'm going to give you an example because I think it's important. The other day, I put a post into our Discord group because I was going through a really difficult time, and I wanted to let people know that I was struggling a little bit so that they could understand if I've been a bit off. And I put a post in, and I took time and I wrote it out and I posted it in, and within 15 minutes that post was on Twitter. I was emailed from somebody claiming to have stumbled across the post, and it just made me think, like, we still have a lot of work to do around mental health. Because if that's what you go to, somebody who is always trying to be honest about mental health and be a supporter of people with mental health issues or struggles, if you're leaking that type of stuff for no other reason other than to be a shithouse, I don't know what to say. Honestly, it just makes me feel like I need to close myself off and not be open to chatting with people or in Discord. It's not what I want. I don't want to be that way. I want to be able to be open and honest because I enjoy my interactions with people. But I am also human. And there's only so much of this stuff before it really does start getting to you. So, yeah, I don't get it. I'll go to my grave not getting it. Like, I just don't understand why people are that way. I don't know. Anyway, I'm not going to let it beat me though. As I said, going to carry on. But it was a low point this week and what was a tough week. As I've said before, there was an operation inside of my family, and I mean an actual medical operation that we were waiting for results for somebody on. We had lots of stuff going on. And then you get the tax stuff and all these other underhanded things to just try and break you. And it's quite angering because you want to get these people and, you know. But anyway, sorry, I'm rambling a bit. Stuart Bradley, welcome to Anfield Agenda FC, my man. You got tickets for Belfast, Danny? Love it. Can't wait to see you, bro. It's going to be a good show. We've got the musical act all tied up and signed up, ready to go, and we're going to have a great night, mate. I can't wait to get up to Belfast and say hello. Was time there for spamming? Thought I left a good space between the messages. I don't agree with you being timed out for that, Casper. I didn't see that as spamming, excuse me. So I have to say I disagree with it, but all these things are done with the best intentions from our moderator. So, you know, thank you for your understanding, and I appreciate you. I think the moderators just know, to be honest, the moderators know that I'm in a difficult spot at the minute and trying my best just to get through stream. So I think they're probably taking my lead and being a little bit overly sensitive to look out for me. Craig, I've always struggled with my mental health, even when I was young, so I get what you're going through. Thank you. City have more goal difference than us with their victory. Yeah, I mean, I have to say, when I seen City won by 5-1, my mind did start thinking towards the goal difference. But, you know, thankfully we still have that 1 point buffer over them if we win tomorrow, I should say. So, look, I think, I don't know what's going to happen over the next 7 games, but I do feel like if we win the next 7 games, we'll win the league. I feel comfortable saying that, but I don't feel comfortable assuming we'll win the next 7 games. Alex Macklin, thank you, mate, for the super sticker. Craig, don't you think Canale should start ahead of Van Dijk? Van Dijk has been great all season, but we can see he's fatigued. I can understand where you're coming from. I thought both of them were quite poor against Atalanta. And yes, there have been times this season where I thought maybe the gaffer would have looked at giving Verge a rest. Don't know when the time to do that is, but I do understand your point, mate. He certainly has played a lot of football this year. Do you think Amorim's 3-4-3 will work for us? I do, mate, yes. It might take a little bit of getting used to for the players, but once we have enough bodies to fulfill the 3 centre-backs, then I think we'll be okay. I would like to see us bring in at least 2 centre-backs in this window. But it feels like whoever the next manager was going to be, there was going to be... it was going to be playing 3-4-3 by the looks of it. Any injury boost? I think... Other than what we've already seen, Imran, Alisson could be back. I don't want to give false hope or be overly negative, so he could be back. Jurgen said during the week that although Trent was in the squad for Atalanta, there was not much expectation that he was going to get minutes. So I think, again, we may see Trent come off the bench against Crystal Palace and get some minutes. If he starts, brilliant. It'll be a lovely surprise. Diogo... Well, we've seen how sharp he looked in the little cameo he came off the bench against Atalanta, so maybe... Do you know what? Just to sum it up, one criticism I've seen from a lot of people this season has been that instead of Jurgen looking to go win the game in the first hour and then make some changes later on, we've almost done it the other way in that we've started weak, conceded early, and then looked to win it from the bench or turn it around from the bench. And I think there's some validity to that. If you look at the likes of Arsenal or Man City... They have gone out there sometimes this season, scored a couple of early goals and closed up shop and seen out the games. We've kind of gone the other route, haven't we, And I agree on that sentimentality. I think Jurgen should go as strong as he can and then make changes as early as he can. But hindsight is a wonderful thing, isn't it? It's very easy for me to sit here and say that, but I don't have the pressures of becoming Liverpool manager. AEM said, Craig, honestly I believe that the Atalanta game was just fatigue and a bad choice of players. Your thoughts though? I think it was a few things. Now, of course, I'm just guessing, but a little bit of arrogance, if I'm being honest, from our manager. I think maybe he'd never admit to overlooking the opposition, but I think the fact that it was at Anfield, I think he thought those changes we would have got away with it. Some silly mistakes. You can look at Kelleher probably should have done better for the first. Well, he should have done better. Dominic Szoboszlai for the third. I don't understand how that happens. And also, the banner thing probably didn't help. Because whatever you think about it, it doesn't carry the right type of energy into the stadium, does it? If you're protesting something, even if it's the most relevant thing in the world, by the way, it does carry a certain vibe into the stadium then. It's kind of like things aren't what they should be. The balance of energies just doesn't seem right, and that kind of bore out a little bit. Then the players didn't really give the fans much to get behind either. It was just a perfect storm of us getting found out, probably, because we've got away with a lot this year. I think we'll agree that we've won some games or, got some points that maybe we got a bit fortunate with, but it felt like that just, I hope it's a wake-up call. I hope we don't see a repeat of it. Szoboszlai needs to be dropped until next season, said Connoisseur 101. I find it strange to figure out what the hell's going on with Dom, because he looks fatigued mentally and physically, but he's had quite a time out with injury, so I don't understand what's going on there, in all honesty, because I think we'll all agree that Dominic Szoboszlai has all the capabilities, all the tools to become a superstar, but he looks tired at the minute, and I don't know why. Does our season end if we draw tomorrow? So I think that's an individual question to answer. For me, does our season end? No. But I think our realistic ambitions to win the league take a very big dent. The reason I say no is because we could, in theory, turn things around next Thursday in the Europa League, but I don't think we've a right to talk about a league title if we don't win tomorrow. I think you can just keep doing your own thing for the remaining 6 games after that, but nah, look, it would be a sign of a real wobble there if we don't win tomorrow. It would. Based off the United draw, the Atalanta game, 3 wins and 7 up to this point. Yeah, I probably wouldn't be talking league title challenges if we don't beat Palace. Who would I rather score the winning goal, Jayden Danns or Joe Gomez? Joe Gomez, because I think Jayden Danns will have lots more opportunities to score some big important goals. So yeah, I'd go for Jayden Danns Joe Gomez in that scenario, mate. Do you see players leaving after Klopp's departure? Yes, but I don't know if they're necessarily linked, Mervyn. So I see Salah leaving. I see Adrian leaving, Matip leaving, Thiago leaving, Reece Williams leaving. Maybe one or two more. But if they're linked to Jurgen leaving or not, I don't know. Do you think Harvey deserves to start over Dom? I think he's been better this season. I do, yes. I do, Jake, yeah. Tomorrow I'd have Endo, McAllister, Elliott. That would be my midfield three for tomorrow. This would be a perfect season for Divock clutch. Well, he wasn't clutch for Forest today. Apparently he had a couple of decent opportunities at the end that he made some messes of. But look, I think hopefully tomorrow we get these 3 points. We feel a little bit better about life and just put us back to winning ways. That's goal number one tomorrow. Win the game. Give a little bit of more positivity back into the fan base, a bit more belief, and you never know. Look, it's a long shot, but just imagine for a second we turned it around next Thursday and somehow got through that. I think that would be huge. So I never agreed with the idea of going weak next Thursday against Atalanta. I just don't. I think you always have to put your best foot forward and, let's look at it this way. If we go out against Atalanta and we go 1-0 down, okay, then maybe you can look at making changes and see, you're not going to get back into the game. You're not going to score 4 unanswered. But start out, I think we go strong. See what happens. I think we should give Gravenberch a chance. I think he's a fantastic player. I hope he breaks out next season. Yeah, look, the whole point of us having a squad with depth is so we can make these changes. But the problem is the lack of consistency of performance. If we've had to make changes a lot this season, and a lot of them not because of tactics or fatigue, but more because of injuries. So yeah, look, I have no issues with Gravenberch. I think, especially at home, I feel comfortable enough playing him. But tomorrow, honestly, I would go with Endo, McAllister and Elliott as my midfield three. But again, no issues if it's Gravenberch. Klopp played a strong lineup versus Sparta up 5-1. I know, and I'm still baffled by that tie, mate. I really am. Does Klopp underestimate Elliott? It's a tough one to answer, isn't it? Because I don't know what's going through Jurgen's mind, but every manager, I would say, has favourites or players they feel they can rely on in big moments. But I don't know. I don't want to put words in Jurgen's mouth. Did I see the National? No, I've no interest in horse racing. I think I seen the name of the winner was I Am Maximus or something like that. 7-1. But other than that, no, I didn't watch it. I don't understand the hate Elliott is getting. He's been better than a lot of the first 11 players. What do you think? Some people just make agendas against players and don't change that perception no matter what the player does. And Elliott's been one of those that there are groups that just don't see it in him, just don't see what he does. And there are others who do see it. It's just one of those things. All fans aren't going to like all players equally. We all have our own varying opinions. And I'm somebody that's always thought Elliott had a role to play. Others think that he's not up to the standard, but I would disagree with them. Honestly, I feel like we make the comeback on Thursday, said Geo1109. I hope so, my man. I hope so. Be a lovely, lovely turnaround of emotions from last week. United conceded 20 shots on goal again today, by the way, in their game against Bournemouth. So I want to ask you guys a question. The United penalty for the handball in that game, what are we saying? Penalty or no penalty? Because for me, it was probably one of the most ridiculous handball decisions I've seen given all year. It ricocheted up and hits the top of a player's arm here as his arm was by his side and he was turning his body this way. I never for the life of me see how that's a penalty. And then you ask, what are these lads in the VAR hub doing? Like, if they don't feel that at the very least the ref might need to go have a little look-see at that again, what's the point of them being there? Because I'm fed up of hearing this clear and obvious threshold. What is it? As we always say, it's not quantifiable. And I think that was clear and obvious. Even for the penalty incident at the end of the game, where it was right on the edge of the penalty area, why is the VAR hub, like, we hear constantly we want the referees making these decisions, right? We hear that constantly. The ref gave a penno. Now, if VAR thinks it's outside, why doesn't the ref have a look? Why doesn't the ref himself go and have a look if he thinks the challenge carried on into the area or not? They didn't. And in that instance, unlike every other instance they talk about, the ref allowed VAR to re-referee the game. It's these hypocrisies that are driving us football fans mental. Let the ref go and have a look at it and make his own mind up. If he thinks that the foul didn't carry on into the penalty area, no problem, give a free kick. But I don't get it. I don't understand it. It's like they're re-refereeing games when they want to. It's like there is no real rule of what they do overrule or aren't. It's all vibes and whatever they feel. And it's not good enough. It's just not good enough. Get behind the boys. Remember Istanbul. Yeah, we all remember Istanbul, Tanya. I don't think anybody's not remembering Istanbul, mate. But you know, it's hard to expect it when what we seen last Thursday, but it's possible. It's definitely possible. Clear and obvious is just an excuse for shitty refs to be behind. Yeah, it is, because I've never seen them actually go, oh yeah, you were wrong. No. In that case, again, referee wasn't even asked to go to the monitor. And again, how was the Martin Odegaard handball earlier on in the season for us? How was that not at least go and have a look, ref? There's just so many things that they are destroying their own game. Football's destroying its own credibility from within. And that's very tough to take. You know, they are, in this search for perfection, they've made the game infinitely worse. Infinitely worse. And I don't care what stats the PGMOL or any of these idiots trot out. We know what we see. We've all watched football for years. We know what we see with our own eyes. We don't need to be told that we don't understand the laws and rules of the game. They're just making it up as they go along, and they're destroying the credibility and value of their own league. Well, they let Manchester City trot along season after season, bending the rules a go-go, and laud them as this genius team with a top-class manager and a plucky spirit. Again, they think we're idiots, and we pay for the privilege of being told this shite by these clowns. Not a backbone amongst them. Not one of them. And they all love to talk about, oh, former pro, ex-pro. You don't care about the game. None of you. None of you in those studios care about the game. Because if you did, you'd be as angry as the rest of us. You'd speak out like the rest of us. But you don't. You're part of the problem. And you're cowards. Because you take your pay slip, you go home, your cushy jobs and your cushy numbers, while the rest of us have to look in anger at a sport that we love, a sport that we idolise, being destroyed. We deserve better, folks. We do. Yes, mate. Oh, here we go, Manchester City again. Indeed, Michael. Yes, because they're very, very clearly bending the rules, you absolute gobshite. If you want to bend over while Abu Dhabi lube you up and ruin your heritage of watching football, go ahead. But I'm not happy to stay silent, nor have I ever been. So yes, oh here we go, Manchester City again. Because United fans, Liverpool fans, Arsenal fans have all been robbed of celebratory moments because of what they have done. And if that doesn't make your blood boil, you pathetic excuse of a football fan, I don't know what to say to you. Just don't come in here pretending you give a damn about the sport. So yeah, I'll keep banging on about Manchester City, because somebody has to. And unlike those cowards at Sky, unlike those cowards in BT, I truly care about the game. So yes, mate, here we go, Manchester City again. Exactly that. And it will be next week, and the week after, and the week after, until those absolute bunch of spoofers are held to account for their actions. Abso-fucking-lutely, I'll be banging on about it. Why are you always talking bad about Salah? I'm not. But cheers for trying to wind me up. I can see through it. I know exactly which comments are the ones that are trying to bait me on stuff like that. Salah hasn't been good enough lately. That's not even debatable. So if you think I hate Salah, no problem. Carry on thinking I hate Salah. But I know what I call Salah, the Egyptian king. I speak about him glowingly. I speak about the fact that he's deservingly the highest paid player. And I do it every single week. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you somebody stinking the gaff up is brilliant. Because I'm not a liar. And I support Liverpool, not Mohamed Salah. Therein lies the difference, my friend. I support the club, not the individual. What are you all going to do, all you Salah FC fanboys, when he goes off? Are you going to still pretend to support Liverpool at that point and go wherever his next club is? Because we see through it. All us genuine Liverpool fans see through the bullshit from those who don't care about the club. There are some, of course, there's a crossover. People who love the man because he's brilliant and what he's achieved at the club, and that's sound. But there's also the rest. And we all, true Liverpool fans, see it. We see the Salah FC fans, the ones who, when he leaves, will have nothing to do with Liverpool. But we'll still be here, supporting the club. That's the difference. No excuses, but clear explanation. Injury still affecting him. 100% agree, Matt. See, this notion that I don't like Salah is just codswallop. Salah's brilliant. Salah is deserving of every goddamn accolade he gets because he has been a revelation at our football club. We have witnessed greatness year after year for a long time. But he's not immune from criticism. Nor is Virgil, nor is Jurgen, nor is anybody else. And that's the only problem I have with this stuff. Is we will all get behind him and credit him when he deserves to be. Of course we will. But we have to be free to be critical as well when we feel he's not playing well. And not have that fair criticism labelled as hate. That's the part that I think winds a lot of us up. It is possible for Craig to respect Salah but want form to improve. Of course it is. Because I absolutely do respect him. I've even said multiple times over the last few months, I'd give the man a new deal. I'd give him a 2-year contract extension. I just wouldn't give him a pay increase. There's just this notion that I hate Salah. And I don't know where it came from because it honestly couldn't be further from the truth. It could not be further from the truth. The man is an icon. The man is a superhuman. But, he's not being himself lately. Whether it is fatigue or whether it's like our friend said earlier on, that he's come back from injury and he's struggling. All those things are absolutely plausible. But we still need to be better and win games and score goals. Same way Darwin. I said drop Darwin. I don't see all the people in the chat saying Craig hates Darwin. Why is that? Why is it that I can say I'd rest Darwin Núñez and I'm not hating on him, but as soon as I say I'd rest Salah, all of a sudden I'm a hater? Very strange behaviour, that. People are too quick to call criticism hate. I know, mate. But I'm just trying to give you a flavour of what it's like sitting on this side of the camera. You know, because people want you to be honest. I try to be honest. And then some people who don't like the narrative won't disagree with me and say, Craig, I think you're wrong because of X, Y, and Z. They'll go, you hate him. You're racist. You're Islamophobic. You hate foreigners. All this other really hurtful, disingenuous, disgusting stuff, that's fine to throw at me. But if I say you should be scoring that, it's hate. You know, if it's on this side, sometimes it gets a bit frustrating. Can I go over the title again? Absolutely, my man. No problem whatsoever. So, the title of tonight's stream comes from a post that came from Pedro Sepulveda, who said, Federico Varandas, who's president of Sporting, is considering failing. I think again this is broken English a little bit in the post. So basically, the post said the Sporting president is thinking about not agreeing to the verbal agreement that he had, with Ruben Amorim, that would have allowed Ruben Amorim to leave for a club outside of Portugal for less than the release clause. Apparently, and I'm not saying this is my information, apparently there was an agreement between Amorim and Sporting Lisbon that if the right offer came in from a non-Portuguese club, that they would lower the release clause a little bit if it helped with the move. Now, apparently because of pressure from the Sporting fans, which I have to say, I genuinely understand. You know, if I was in their shoes and our manager was going to be departing for less than a release clause, I'd be annoyed by it. You know, I think we all would. So I totally understand it. But apparently it goes on to say that this could trigger discomfort inside Sporting and Liverpool wants to close the deal. So I wouldn't say it's going to put the deal in jeopardy or anything like that, but it does feel like there's still a few little things that need to be ironed out. But of course, I try to look at this and understand Sporting side of it as well, because they know what a good manager they've got. A manager that's about to deliver them a second La Liga, Portuguese league title in 3 or 4 years, maybe a double. So I understand it. I appreciate it. And if it comes down to it, I hope Liverpool just pay whatever the clause is that they have to pay. Craig, would you take a draw tomorrow if it meant we went through on Thursday? Big up the Spice Bag crew. I'm laughing at that because my missus had one yesterday. Would I take a draw tomorrow if it meant we went through on Thursday? No, I wouldn't. It's got to be a win, man. It's got to be a win tomorrow. NCE87 said, I'd love to win the Europa League, but it's no Champions League. Oh, mate, I'm with you. I'm very aware that I'm a little bit biased towards the Europa League this year because the final's in Dublin. If the final was in Sweden or Denmark or Germany or wherever, I probably wouldn't be too as emotionally invested in us winning it. You know, it's just kind of a bit of a daydream for me as an Irish Liverpool fan to think of Jurgen's last game managing Liverpool Football Club being a Europa League final in Dublin. Yeah, I am invested in it in that way. So I totally understand if you aren't an Irish fella that you might look at the Europa League and go, meh, because most years I'd probably be the same, to be honest. Matt Camden, welcome to Anfield Agenda FC. Did Sabrina get the job from a couple of weeks ago? Yes, sir, she did. Thank you for asking. She starts her training on Monday. She's 3 weeks of training for the first part of it. But yes, she did, mate. Thank you very much for asking. I'm very proud of her and excited to see her finish and go out and be a firefighter, which is amazing. Yeah, so proud of her. Hey, Craig. Darwin at home has an XG of 15.52 this season, but only scored 7. He's so much better away. I think the legacy of Anfield really gets to his head. I just hope he can improve this. Come on, you Reds, tomorrow. Didn't know that about the XG at home, Barry. Thank you so much for the extra bit of insight. Always helps to help form a valid opinion. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the answer is as to why maybe he's underperforming that XG at home so much. Maybe, as you said, maybe it is the pressure of really wanting to be successful. I think, ironically, you know, Anfield gets behind him. You can even see when he was being subbed off the other night, the whole stadium singing his name. So, yeah, hopefully he can settle down and find a way to close that gap in the XG. It'd be such an FSG thing to do to say too expensive. I don't think it would, Jack, because in the long term, I think the value in paying the release clause will far outweigh the potential of going down the list to the next target. So I don't think that they will cheap out of it. I think they'll pay what needs to be paid. Salah should start to be played down the middle, said Football Fantasy. Yeah, mate, I don't disagree. I was saying, I think even as far back as last year, that for Mo, he's at this point of his career now where naturally you may see a little drop off in pace and stuff because he's getting older. But like the great players before him, he could reinvent himself somewhat. Messi dropped a little bit deeper. Ronaldo became basically a centre forward. And I think Mohamed Salah could do the same thing. I think he could play through the middle. Yeah, no problem. I really do. I agree with you. Why didn't you put Gakpo in the starting 11? I did mention, I think, Carl, now I'm open to be correct, but I think I mentioned in the preview that I'd have no issue if Gakpo did play. Just genuinely think that 11 is the best 11. I think Diaz on the left, Salah on the right, and Jota through the middle is probably the right way. Now, if Klopp feels Jota isn't ready to start, then I put Gakpo in ahead of Darwin through the middle. Mario said, Craig, I watched the starting 11 video, fully agree with you, but I play Cody instead of Diaz tomorrow. I have no issue at all with that, mate. I agree with anybody who thinks Gakpo deserves a nod. I think he was one of our better players in a really poor performance against Atalanta, but I don't disagree. These things are all just personal opinion, and I have no problem if Gakpo plays tomorrow. Craig, is it possible that our team already know who's going to be our manager next season? Really don't know. I really don't know the answer, mate. I would say that they may be a little bit more informed than us, but I don't know if they do or not. Is your show coming to Liverpool? Yes, on the 4th of August. No, we haven't put the tickets on sale yet because it's too early. But yeah, Liverpool 4th of August and Cardiff 2nd of August. Funny enough, Gakpo's XG is 13.5 and he scored 14. Boom! There you go, Barry. That's a very positive sign for Cody. Tanya, talk to you tomorrow, my friend. Have a lovely Saturday evening. Aaron Kenny, welcome to Anfield Agenda FC, Aaron. Thank you for your support, mate. Is Trent back for tomorrow? I think so. He was in the squad for the Europa League game, but Jurgen said that he didn't feel he was realistically fit enough to play minutes. But I think, you might see him come off the bench. Maybe we get a surprise and he starts. But I think he should be in the squad. Do you see Arsenal dropping points tomorrow against Villa? So I'm one of these type of people, Cormac, in this situation that will expect Arsenal to win. And it'll be a great bonus if they don't. If I start to allow myself to believe that Arsenal don't win, I know I'll just get crankier. I'll just be in a bad mood. So I try to look at it and expect them to win. And then, if that happens, take it as a bonus. I'm a Scouser living in Italy. I'll fly when they go on sale. Oh, mate, that would be so lovely to see you, David. Thank you, mate. It'll be in the Hot Water Comedy Club, by the way, if that makes it any easier for you to pre-plan. But that's so class, mate. Love to see it, and look forward to maybe seeing you in August. Can Villa get a draw at the Emirates? Yes, they can. It's not impossible. Villa are no mugs. They're a good team, but so are Arsenal. You have to hope maybe that Arsenal have one eye on the second leg against Bayern Munich, because I know if that was us, I'd certainly have an eye on the second leg. But I don't know. I'm afraid to let myself believe, you know. I'm just going to expect the worst, but see what happens. Would you play Gomez or Robbo tomorrow? Robbo, for me, Yusuf. Robbo. Would I like De Zerbi or Amorim? 100% Ruben Amorim. You know, my tier list was Xabi Alonso, Ruben Amorim, and then after that, I was struggling. I wouldn't have had De Zerbi in my top 5, probably. I think for me, anybody after Amorim would be a bigger risk than I'd feel comfortable with. Is the Liverpool show 18 plus? Nope, all ages. That's the good news. So the Cardiff and the Liverpool shows are open to everybody. They're all ages events. So yeah, we'll be able to welcome in everybody to those ones. Who do I want to win the Champions League? Dortmund, probably. Yeah, Dortmund, most likely. Don't think they will, but you know, if I could dream a winner, I'd probably say with who's left in the competition, Dortmund. I don't get the hype around De Zerbi. I think he's highly overrated. I'm kind of weird on this one because I can see why people would rate De Zerbi. For me, it's more of a cultural fit. I just don't see him as a Liverpool manager, but I do think he will get an opportunity at a top club in Europe soon, and I can see him doing okay there. It's never to me felt a good fit. I couldn't see him standing on the sideline at Anfield as their manager. I don't know why. Diamonde or Inacio would be a good addition, said Scouser Cam. Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. I think both of them are going to be in demand this summer from Sporting. And the last I remember, I think there's about 10 million euro in the difference between the release clause. Diamonde having the slightly more expensive one, I think. But yeah, look, I feel like there's a good chance we try to bring in Inacio this summer based off what I'm reading. But we'll have to wait and see. But you are right. Both of them are certainly worth a look at. Excuse me. Is there a venue set up for the Liverpool show? Yes, the Hot Water Comedy Club is on where is it Blackstock Market, the new venue that they're building. There, that's where the show will be in August. Hot Water Comedy Club, and in Cardiff the show will be at the Richard Burton Theatre. And actually, on that, don't forget. I'll leave that up there for a couple of moments. Those shows are on sale right now on Ticketmaster if you want to come. Belfast, May 31st and Dublin, June the 2nd. Alex Macklin, thank you, bud, for gifting a membership. You're really kind. Do you know what? I want to say something to you guys before we move into the last half hour tonight. Thank you. I've seen the amount of people who've been sticking up for me in the comments, and I'm starting to get better at figuring out these sly ways that people are trying to have a go at us. I say us because they are trying to undermine our community in general, not just me. So I want to say thank you for understanding my ups and downs lately. It's been a really difficult 6-7 weeks for me on a personal level, and I appreciate your support through it. I look far more positively on the future now after getting through this. That whole stuff over the last few weeks was tough, but you guys have been there constantly, and if I don't address all the positivity in the chat, it does not go unnoticed. So thank you so much for that, because without you guys I wouldn't be able to keep plastering a smile on the crappy days where, you know, I'm not probably in the right mindset to come on. But it is the highlight of my life, this channel, outside of my family. It is the thing I'm most proud of, and you guys, the people that come in here every night and chat with me and share our love of the football club, it means a lot. It does, it means a lot. And I love that we've got our own corner of the internet, you know, that we've got us and we can come and be us. And we won't to trying to keep that mental health stigma there. They're not going to win. They aren't, because we need to support each other, because the internet's a difficult place at times, and you guys are absolutely amazing. Whew. What are your top 5 Liverpool players? Suarez, I don't have an order now. And remember, I haven't seen Dalglish play, so I only talk about players who I've who I've witnessed. So, Gerrard, Suarez, Salah, Barnes, Fowler. I know Rush should probably be in there, by the way. I know, but these are just ones that struck a chord with me. So, yeah, those 5 probably. But look, it's impossible to just name 5, right? Because there's, God knows, there's another 10 or 15 easily. Have you considered a show further south? Yes. You know, we will look at something down south eventually. I just want to try and get through the 4 that we have in the books first, because it takes a lot to organise a show, to get the right venues, to get ticket sales, to promote the ticket sales. So we would definitely look to get down south. No problem, mate. I'll do a recap for you in 2 moments. Pal, bear with me. Anything less than 5-0 tomorrow won't be good enough, said Aura Lamp. You're entitled to your own opinion, dude. I'd take a 1-0 as long as it's a win, as long as we get the 3 points. Sorry, I was just checking. I think if my mic was breaking up there, so I was only reading the comments to make sure I was back up okay. Sorry if there was a break up there on the mic. I do apologise. I hope it's okay. If you hit refresh, hopefully it will. It'll be all good. How can you afford all these live shows? I don't understand that question. I don't understand the question, mate. What do you mean, how can I afford the live shows? I don't understand your question. I feel like you're trying to be an asshole, but I don't understand the question. And also, I don't understand how my financial side is any of your business either. You obviously don't know how these live shows work, but that's okay. You know, if you weren't used to doing them and it's not your business or whatever, there's no reason really you should know. But if it makes it feel any better for you, usually the first one, I think we broke even. But yeah, it's none of your fucking business. Quite honestly, mate, how I can or can't afford anything is absolutely none of your concern. Since Jurgen promised a reaction tomorrow, what would be a good reaction for you? For me, it would be a good defence and conversion rate. A clean sheet, Camel Deep would be lovely, my friend. Yes, and thank you so much for your super chat, bro. A clean sheet would be lovely. A clean sheet and a nice couple of goals scored would do no wrong. Yeah, it'd be great. See, again, Jimbo and everybody else that's saying don't get defensive, I can see through the bullshit, bro. I know that questions aren't general questions. Because if he had a general question, he'd say, are the live shows expensive, Craig? How much does it cost to put on one of these shows? But he didn't say that, did he? He went straight for negative aspect and gone, how can you afford these? Like I have to give him an answer. So Jimbo, you can do one as well, bro. You're not going to get to me. Fuck right off, you sad little twats. And let me carry on with the people who actually want to be here. Because I can see through all these dodgy comments, mate. You're not fucking clever. Salah's my all-time favourite Liverpool player. I think we should move on from him. As painful as it is for me to say, I just think he's a superstar and real manager can be difficult. I think it is a natural time to depart and part ways as well. It's not easy to say though, is it? Because we're looking at somebody who has been one of, if not the best player in our squad for 6 or 7 years. But just like Jurgen or anyone, sometimes these things come to a natural conclusion. And I feel like with his contract situation, this does feel like a natural conclusion. And I would hate to see Liverpool lose Mo on a free when there was a possibility to, help rebuild the squad there. But like I've always said as well, if he was given a 2-year contract extension, I would not complain one bit. I just don't like the idea of him leaving on a free. Got a winner of the Grand National, £50. Nice one, David. Well in. Could I go back to the Amorim news? Yes, of course, no problem. So, Pedro Sepulveda said, Federico Ferrandas, president of Sporting, is considering reneging on his verbal agreement with Ruben Amorim that he could leave for a fee below the stated release clause. And the reason for that is that he's worried about being criticised by the Sporting fan base. He goes on to say, this could trigger a discomfort inside Sporting. Liverpool wants to close the deal. So, I have to say, I totally understand it from Sporting's side. If I like to put myself in their shoes, if this was Jurgen and somebody was coming in to get him from Liverpool and they didn't pay the release clause that was in his deal and there was a chance he could go for less, I think we'd be a little bit like, nah, pay the money. So I understand it, but I just bring it up to show that I think I wouldn't get concerned about it. It's not a fallout of relations between Liverpool and Sporting or anything like that. It's just another step in this process, I think, that has to be overcome. But I think it will be. Any West Midland shows? Birmingham will probably be one of the next places we look at, mate. Yeah, Birmingham was really close to being booked in this time, but we ended up going to Belfast. But yeah, we will. Birmingham's definitely on the list. Okay, Craig, let me help out by asking, how much does it take to put up a live show? They vary. So the one in Dublin, to open the doors and do everything for the venue, it's about €3,800. Belfast is a different venue, so it's a bit cheaper. The Cardiff show probably cost about £2,000 to open the doors. And the Liverpool one, I actually don't know yet fully on that one. We're still working through, because some of these we have split deals with the promoters and stuff. But the Dublin show is by far the most expensive one we've looked at because of everything that goes into, public liability insurance, rental of seats for the venue because we want it to be a sitting show. They can be quite expensive, but it does vary from place to place, which is, that's where we're at, yeah. And if he had have asked a question like that, that's the answer he would have got. But he didn't, because I know what he was trying to get at. Craig, you were right. Seems like Edwards will sell Salah at a world record fee. I've no idea what the number will be in the end. For me, I'm hoping for 100 mil upwards, but I have to say, as soon as I heard Michael Edwards was coming back into the fold at Liverpool, I immediately thought, well, that'll be Salah sold then. The Academy is a brilliant venue. I've never been to it, Glenn. Connor's been to a few shows in there. I've never been to it, but it looks like a great spot, yeah. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to them. Wait till you see Mo's redemption. He doesn't have anything to redeem, though, mate. That's why I don't understand the redemption. He's just going through a little blip. I don't see that he has anything to redeem. I don't think he has to prove anything. The man's proven himself. His level isn't in doubt. Just at this moment in time, for whatever reason, be it an injury, fatigue, or a little bit of both, he's just not as prolific and as good as we've come to expect over the years. But I wouldn't go as far as say redemption. And as I said, I don't think he has to redeem himself with us. He's proven himself more than enough over the years. Have you heard Lana Del Rey's cover of You'll Never Walk Alone? Yeah, it's lovely. It's really, really nice. Should have sold him earlier for 200 million. I would disagree. And I don't think 200 million was ever on the table. I think there was 150 maybe last summer. I'm glad we didn't sell him. I think now probably is the right time. I think we've certainly benefited from Mo this season and having him at the club. I don't think we'd be in a title race with this group now if he wasn't here. So, look, we all see these things differently, and there's no right and wrong answer. Sometimes it's just a personal preference. See you again with the comments in the chat, lads. I'm deleting them, I'm blocking them out, but I don't know what to say. These are just scummy little fucks who have no positive stuff in their life coming in to try and nag on other people. I just hope that someday you get some happiness in your life, people, and the people who are coming in trolling. And I hope that somebody brings you happiness, because I feel sorry for you. I do. I genuinely feel sympathy for you going around with that chip on your shoulder like that. What did you work at before you became a YouTuber? Loads of different things. I worked in a supplements industry. My friend owned a chain of supplement stores, so I worked with him. I worked as a DJ, worked as a taxi driver, worked in a car park, worked in a cafe. Loads of different jobs, mate. If you could say anything to the team before the Atalanta game, what would you say? What would I say? I'd probably say something like, remember what it felt like in the dressing room in Anfield after the first game. Remember how disappointed you were. And remember that you don't want to feel that again. And remember that anything is possible with this group. You can go out there and turn this around. I would just remind them that they've done it before. What's the worst thing you've experienced as a Liverpool fan? Apart from the obvious, obviously. What's the worst thing I've experienced as a Liverpool fan? Outside of tragedies, of course. Don't really have anything that negative. I mean, we have moments. Of course, you can talk about Gerrard slipping against Chelsea, or what happened against Crystal Palace and whatnot. The 7-2 against Villa. I think something that really sticks with me is Gerrard, the 6-1, wasn't it, to Stoke? At the end of Gerrard's time, that felt shitty way for him to go. Yeah, but it's not many things that have affected me personally anyway. Worst thing for me as a Liverpool fan was probably when Torres left. I felt so betrayed. He was going to Chelsea. Yeah, I was really angry when Coutinho left. I felt like we were almost giving up on the season that year. Now, of course, we turned things around, and Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, the lads played amazingly well to get to another final. But yeah, that one was tough, especially because we didn't go out to replace him either. Finishing a point behind City twice. Yeah, that was tough as well. Love from Jamaica. Thank you, Lindsay. Appreciate you, mate. Looks like Ten Hag might walk. I don't know. Can United afford to sack him? And I'm being genuine when I say that. There's been lots of talk that they don't have the money to sack him and his backroom staff. But I don't know. I'm glad it's not us in that mess. I'm just glad that even though we're changing manager, we still have far more of a positive outlook going forward than that mess at Old Trafford. The thing with us is we struggle to beat mid-table relegation teams, but we make teams like Man City look like they came from the Championship. I just think that low block thing is still really annoying, that we still have that issue playing against a low block at times. That frustration. That's one thing I felt like we never truly solved under Jurgen. The ridiculous company goal versus Leicester. Oh yeah, Barry. Every time I see Sky Sports with the ad for the Premier League showing that company goal, yeah, your heart sinks a little bit because, I mean, what a strike from company in fairness. But yeah, that was a tough one to take. I keep getting trolled by rival fans. What should I do? What you tell me to do all the time. Ignore them. That would be... Or get off social media because it's an absolute shithole. I'm delighted that I'm not on social media. This is my only social media, this and Discord. I don't do Twitter, don't do Instagram, don't do TikTok, don't do any of them because they're just not nice places, really. I prefer real interactions with real human beings. Lineup prediction for tomorrow. I've done mine, Boss Panther. It's up on the channel, but I'm happy to go through it for you before I finish up. So if Alisson's fit, Alisson, but based off what we know, Kelleher, Bradley, Kwanzaa, Van Dijk, Robertson, Endo, McAllister, Elliott, Salah, Jota, Diaz. That would be my starting 11. Do I watch YouTube videos? Not really. I watch some IFL TV, some Boxing Social. But other than that, no, not particularly. I don't really pay much. I find if I go onto YouTube, I'll end up going down the rabbit hole. There'll be 3 hours of my life gone before I look up. So I tend to spend my time reading up on Liverpool stuff for the shows here, trying to get as much info as I can, learn a bit more about the intricacies of what we're doing on the pitch, or yeah, to spend my spare time preparing for these shows, in all honesty. Why do you think since League got rebranded we haven't got a hold of more Prem titles? I think it's just because football is a cyclical thing, you know. Success and eras come and go. You know, you look at United now, you know, they're starting to build up the years since they've had a Premier League success. Yeah, I don't think of it much more than that. That and, you know, we were a little bit behind on the commercial aspect of things as a club. Yeah, it's a few small details, but I think thankfully now we're back challenging anyway. Do I watch any cartoons with my son? Well, he's a bit old to be watching cartoons now, but we watch sometimes a bit of 4 Toons, some South Park, but other than that, he's more of a YouTube watcher, you know, because that's his generation. You on 4 Toons made me laugh. Me getting to throw Michael Owen and smash him onto the ground via 4 Toons was very cathartic. It was lovely. How do you generally view City as a rival? I don't view them as a rival. I view them as a problem. I'm not going to elaborate on it, but I don't have a rivalry with them because to me, rivalries are based on mutual respect, and that's... You know the way they often say in life, it's the people closest to you that you get angry with because their opinion matters to you. I kind of look at it that way. I look at United as a rival, Arsenal as a rival, because I have respect for the clubs. I have respect for the way they built themselves to what they are, and how they carry themselves. And the respect is a sporting one, the rivalry is a sporting one, but it's built on a foundation of mutual respect. I don't have that with City. Salah or Hazard prime? It's such a stupid question that I'm not even really going to answer it. It's, you know, the answer to it. And yeah, that's another baiting comment. So again, I can see through all these attempts to try and wind me up by asking questions that everybody in this chat knows I've answered hundreds of times. If it happens that Amram's not our next manager, who would you rather? Truly, nobody. Which isn't an answer, I know, because there has to be somebody, but I don't really have anyone that would fill me full of confidence after, it was Alonso, then Amorim, and after that, you'd have to be talking somebody that isn't available, like an Ancelotti or, there's no one. I mean, Nagelsmann I think I could probably live with, but, there isn't anyone. Nagelsmann's maybe, but that's probably it. How about Areola? Iriola, is that what you mean? The Bournemouth coach? Not there just yet, but seems to be on a trajectory to do well. Arne Slot seems to be another one who's worth keeping an eye on. Ange Postecoglou, obviously, it's been up and down this season with Spurs, but there's a lot of good young coaches who are coming through who we'll probably talk about over the next 5-10 years quite a bit, because as this era of the likes of Klopp, Guardiola, before that Wenger, Ferguson, Conte, as that generation of managers gets older, a new younger generation's coming through, and some exciting, innovative young coaches there that I think we'll see have a big impact on the sport. Hey Keen, nice to see you, Keen Owen. Hope you're well, mate. Do I think our team suits Amorim's style? So I'll be really honest with you to say I'm still getting up to speed on Amorim's style. I think we have players that are technically good enough to play and keep possession like he'd like to. We have players that are used to a press. We would need an extra centre-back or two, I think, to give us enough options to play three at the back consistently. But yeah, of course, I think, we've very good calibre footballers at the club. Favourite Oasis song? So there's one that means a lot to me, and it's I Hope I Think I Know. It just hits home with me, but probably Champagne Supernova, if I'm being honest with you. That's the one that I'd probably lie back on the grass looking at the sky and just relax. But yeah, I Hope I Think I Know is the one that would hit home for me. Would you take Rafael if you're to sell Diaz? I just don't know that there's value there, and also we're probably not going to play with wide players in the new system, so most likely not. Do you think we need a new striker? Yes, but not to replace anyone. Just to come in and give us more options. I don't want to sell Darwin or Jota, but I wouldn't mind having another option. Whether that's Jayden Danns, perhaps. I miss your super chat, Harry. One check. What will be a successful season next year? Good question. I think making sure we're safe in the Champions League spots. Ideally, challenging for league would be lovely, but you have to have some realism with a new manager and not expect it. So yeah, top three, and do well in the Champions League. The domestic cups you need a little bit of luck in. You want some home draws, hopefully some weak early rounds. But those two, to go quarterfinals or further in the Champions League and cement us in the top three in the Premier League, be a pretty successful year. What team do I want to win the Champions League this year? That's left in it, probably Dortmund. Yeah, probably Dortmund with who's left. What about Xavi for us, the job? I don't think it's no. I don't think it's a good fit. Xavi, excuse me. I wonder if he will change his mind and stay at Barca though. I have been thinking about that a little bit recently. I really like Dan's. Hope he can be an option for us. Philip said, did you see his goal? Yeah, it was a lovely little cheeky back heel. And a very good result for the under 21s away at Old Trafford as well. Bradley is spot on for Amorim. Yep, absolutely. Who's my favourite League of Ireland team? Shelbourne, mate. Right, look, my friends, I'm going to say goodnight to you. And thank you for joining us. And Better luck next time to all the people who are trying to wind me up in the chat. I can see through your comments. If you want to keep wasting your time, that's entirely up to you. But you're going to end up miserable. So probably best to leave it. To you amazing people, thank you. I'll see you tomorrow. We'll be live from 1 p.m. for the watch along with match reaction, player ratings videos, and everything you would expect on a match day. And hope you have a lovely Saturday night. If you're watching the UFC 300 later on, enjoy. And I will catch up with you tomorrow. Much love. Bye-bye.